Good afternoon, guys. I've posted a lot of things up on Facebook, and some of my friends have asked if I could do some videos. So I decided that I was going to try and do a couple of videos, post them up, see how people like them. So I'm going to start off with, today I have a project where I want to make some knobs for my nephew's bandsaw. So this is going to be a Christmas present. I got to make a few of these, and we'll do it on video and we'll see how it comes out. It's going to be all lathe work, no milling machine. I'll get you in here, we'll look at the drawing, explain what we got to do, and we'll go from there. Okay? Alright, like I was saying earlier, we're going to be making a couple of these knobs for my nephew's bandsaw, and all they do is hold the shield on around where the wheels go for the bandsaw. It's a 14-inch Delta, it's an antique. It's missing a couple of these knobs, and you can't buy these anymore. Okay, so I did already make a couple. This is what they're going to look like when they're finished. Prior to making it, I came up with a blueprint, and we laid out all the different dimensions that we need to follow in order to make these knobs. Now, it's all lathe work. No milling work, so it's pretty straightforward. It's not a very hard job at all, and because these are knobs, there isn't any real critical dimensions. Okay, probably the only thing that's critical is the 5/16 18. Actually, I think it's 3/8 16. It is. It's 3/8 16. Threads that go in the inside to make sure they screw on the shafts that come out of the shields. But other than that, I mean, it's plus or minus a few thousand. It's not a big deal. Okay, so it's a relatively simple process. The only thing special that we're going to need is we need to make a radius cutter. So I made this radius cutter. It's right around a 1/4 inch, so that we can make that nice little feature right there. Okay, now the knobs that are on the bandsaw that I have, because I have a pretty similar bandsaw, they are all different. They are very different from each other. I mean, they have the same style, same shape roughly, but some of the dimensions are a little bit different. So I took one of them and we're going to copy those. So mine will be a little bit more the same. They will be done all on the same machine, one right after another, so they're going to come out a lot closer than the other ones. As you can see on this one, this might be a little bit narrower than this on mine, and that's because the one that I copied, it was a little bit bigger, so they will come out a little bit different than some of the ones that are on my machine, but like I said, mine are all different. So this is the project. It is a Christmas gift, so we're going to go over to the lathe, and I'm going to show you how I make one of these. Okay, let's get going. Alright, so here we are over at the lathe. First thing we're going to do is we have to zero the work in the chuck. This is a 4-jaw chuck, so it is not self-centering. And as you can see with the dial indicator, it's moving around. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect, but we're going to bring it pretty damn close. But we got to get this so the needle reads 0. So when you go around in a circle, anytime the needle moves in this direction to the right, it's high. and as it comes around it goes low. So we're going to keep going back and forth until we get the piece of work centered in the lathe. So we'll start with our number 1 and 3 jaw. So we'll put this pretty close to 0, and all I'm doing is moving my in feet on my carriage. And what we want to do is about split the difference. So if like this right now is 60, so that means this side is too far out, so this side has to come to me. So I'm going to loosen this up, and I'm going to tighten this side. And I want to get it to roughly in the 30 position. Much closer. So come back over here, set it to 0, and we're about 15 out, so still I'm going to split that difference. Oop, I think that's going to be too much. Let's see what happens. Actually, it wasn't too bad. So we're at about 5. This would be easier if the indicator was on the other side. So we're about 3. Alright, see what the 2 and the 4 is. 2 and the 4 isn't too bad either. So that side has to go this direction. Pretty close on that one. Oh, a little bit more. That one's pretty true. And that one's going to come up to about the 0. I'm going to have to loosen this up just a little bit. Alright, so this one's a little bit high. Still a little high. I went the wrong way. I did, I went the wrong way. That's within about 2 thousandths. That one's low. Let me get just a little bit more. trying to get it within about 1,000. And you can see that this piece of metal isn't perfectly round. It's got a little bit of a dip in it, but that's pretty good. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to face off the front. We're going to take a little bit of, clean up the surface on the end, and we're going to put a center drill hole in here so that we can hold it with a center. Okay? And don't forget the safety glasses. Alright, here we go. Faced off. I'm going to put a center drill in here. Now there's already a hole in here from the last one, but we want to put an angle on it so the center will ride in it nice. Good. Alright, so we're going to take the drill chuck out. Put the center in. And the reason for this is we're going to put this knurl on here, which means we're going to put a lot of force on this. We want to hold this from flexing. Alright. Over here, get our knurl, and we may have to go back a few times until we get the depth that we want, because what this is going to do is it's actually going to squish the metal and it's going to expand it. Okay, now this is actually a straight knurl, where most people look at a knurl as a diamond. This is actually a knurling tool that my father had made when I had my automotive machine shop. We used to knurl the guides in the aluminum head so that they wouldn't slide through. A lot of the cars had issues with them sliding down. Alright, that looks pretty square. I'm actually going to get a piece of yellow paper. I'm going to put it underneath here, and I'm going to take a look to see if this is square to the Yeah, we're gonna change that angle a little bit. Alright, and all I did was square this up to this piece right here. Alright, next thing. Got a magic marker. Roughly the middle of our knurl is going to be right there. We want to do more than enough so that we can come up against each edge and put a nice little chamfer on it. So we get a nice clean looking knurl when we're done. Plenty of lubrication. Also, we need to knock down this RPM down to about 150. So 150, 160 is going to be GKP. So G, K. And all I'm doing is changing the gears to change the speed. So as you can see, that's a lot slower. And this is just a high sulfur cutting wheel. Put this in, it's going to find the old knurl. Now I'm going to engage the auto feed. Take a peek at that. See, I'm going to have to put my other glasses on. That actually looks pretty good. Yeah, I could stand to go a little bit deeper. Actually, that's not bad at all. That is actually really good. I'm really happy with that. A little bit wider here, but it cleans up nice right over in this area. That does not look bad. I may let it run back one more time. I'm going to reverse the feed. Lube this up really good. this out, disengage, and we're going to turn our feed back the other direction. Alright. That looks good. Clean that up. That's all done. Double check. We're well within the area we need it. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to turn this OD right here, this outside diameter, and we're going to turn it up right about to here, so we're going to relieve some of this area where we're going to put the radius in. But we can't turn right up to here because we need meat in here, we need steel, so that the radius will blend. So let's take this stop off. Get this stop out of the way. And we're going to put a dial indicator in here. Going. We're going to put a mag dial indicator down here on the ways, and hopefully I got enough room to do this. I believe I do. So I'm going to start off with a roughing tool, which is this one right here. What I'm going to come in do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to touch this face, okay, and I'm going to move my dial indicator up and give myself a 0. Now, grab a pencil. You guys can see this. This spot right here is 560 thousandths from the end. So I left myself a note to turn over to about 500, give or take. And so I'll turn over to here at this size, and that'll give me enough to blend when I put my radius tool in. So that's the first thing I'm going to turn, is I'm going to come over about 500 thousandths. Okay. This is a 50 thousandths dial indicator, so I'm going to have to go 10 revolutions to come in where I want to go. So that's my 0. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, just to keep us honest, I'm going to take a quick peek at that, and we look pretty good. I just want to make sure I'm not going further than I'm supposed to. So I'm going to move this back, and I'm going to put this on 0. So when I come over to there, I know I'm close. That's just a rough. I'm going to put a mark in there also. Nope, I got to change my speed. Let's see, GLM. Let's go with H. L. M. See how that looks. Now we're going to go faster than that. reading on this. We got 156. We're about 50 over. Now, I'm going to change tools because a high-speed tool is going to give me a much better finish. So I'm going to, now this is not going to be correct now because I changed tool, but that's okay. I got a nice edge to go to. I'm going to come in, I'm going to take 25. I'm going to try and split this. Come up and touch. I'm going to take 25. Set my 0. And it's saying 1 inch 17 thousandths. Now, like I said, this is give or take a few thousandths. I'm going to speed this up one more time. And I'm going to go in about, I'm going to go a little less than that. The others were coming out about 1 inch 6 thousandths. So I'm going to come in roughly 10. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 11 or 12. Not in gear. Thing I did was I stepped it a little bit. I didn't come over to that shoulder hard. I gave it a little step. So it's going to help out with my radius. So let's see what we got. We're at 1 inch 2 thousandths. Good enough. Okay, so next is the fun part. Next part is that we're going to cut the radius. The radiuses can be a little bit of an issue for chatter, so we're going to cut it slow, and we're going to take our time with it. Okay, so I'm going to get set up for the next one, and I'm going to put the rest of this in another video because this is already getting quite long. I will see you on part 2. Thanks.